Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Cathryn.
And I'm your other host, Freddie Reese. What's up? What's good, everybody? Hope you're having a great week, truly. You know what would make that week greater is if you followed us on all of our social media accounts at the Pickup WNBA podcast, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. The others don't matter anymore. We kind of stopped caring about those. So those are the biggies. And, say something nice about us in a review and just tell people about us, because that's really how it the ball gets moving here. But we have a very special guest that I'm going to let Cathryn introduce. So if you're watching on YouTube, you already know it's just not us two. And Cathryn, I'll let you take it away.
Yes, we're so happy joining us today. She is the host of the Clack show. It is Lauren Duletzke.
What's up, everybody? I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a bit about your show.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am missing my other half, Jackie Gemellis. So Jackie was a former WNBA player who I met when we were working at Nike. So we worked in the Nike Sport Research Lab. We always laughed that we were the two non-scientists in like this incredible group of world-leading scientists solving all kinds of problems for athletes. And I remember distinctively, Jackie would give me a high five every single day in corporate America, which was such a unique thing. And we just really bonded over not even sports, but women's issues. So first conversation we had was around skincare. And, you've got your 6'1" former WNBA player, and then me, I'm 5'2". You can't see it here, but we just had this like beautiful friendship that emerged. And when we both left Nike, we were very passionate about finding ways to bring more women like me into sports, particularly the W, because it's just such an exciting brand, not just the players from the marketing side, but just what happens on the court. And that's where Clack was born. And it was really meant to be a metaphor for heels on and off the court, like the sound of Clack on a court. And yeah, we started the podcast in 2022. So we've been doing it for almost 2 years, and we actually just launched a product as well into the world. So it's been a really exciting enterprise, and we just love talking about all things women's sports and sports.
Incredible. Okay. First of all, what's the product? Yeah. Like you perfectly sold me. Like, and we just launched a product. I'm like, okay, well,
we sure did.
I'll buy it, I guess. Like,
yeah, I was getting out my credit card before I found out what it was.
Well, I love that, you guys. But you have to work in a university first to buy our product. So
okay.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you quickly, because I'm super stoked to get into all the things happening in the W right now. But, our product was really built off of this insight that we actually found even more real as we were doing the podcast, interviewing women in sports who are now in life after sports. And what we've realized about society is there's a huge drop off between the athlete journey and what happens next. And we want to be the company that actually builds that bridge and helps athletes really learn how to take everything they've learned in their sports and transition that into that next phase, no matter what their career looks like. So we built a product, it's a software platform that we're starting to sell to universities to offer to their student athletes that really takes them from athletic identity into career readiness, and does a lot more of a scalable job to give them those insights, give them the education that they need to get to that next phase. So we're ex-Nike. We love athlete services and insights and how that can build products. And that's really the vision for our product that's going to be available this fall. So not to get all salesy on this podcast, but we're really proud of it.
Yeah, I'm so into the salesy thing. Like, this is great.
Thanks.
Also, it's very impressive and really fulfills like a true need.
For sure. And Jackie lived it herself. She played in the WNBA and overseas for 10 years. And, as someone who didn't play in college, but sport has been a huge part of my life, you can really see the difference in the journey, and we have to be more adaptable in the workforce. And athletes have that ability because of what they grow up doing in their sports. And so we've really jumped on that insight, and we want to really build on this $1 billion talent pipeline that gets so often overlooked because they're like, oh, they're not ready. they haven't done an internship, they haven't had a job. It's like, well, actually,
Right.
yes, they have. So I think it's a much larger topic that is sort of the untold story in sports that needs to be talked about more, but we can get to actually talk about what's happening on the court.
I'm so down with that. Although I just have to say, anytime I think about life after the W and professions after the W, I immediately go to Sylvia Fowles
Oh,
because
Oh
it was
yeah.
just the coolest thing and the biggest curveball to me. Like, we really were. I think it was probably the first like superstar we saw retire after recording the pod, and her just saying like I want to be like I want to be a mortician, like I want to work in a funeral
mhm.
home. It was just like, first of all, why not? Second of all, like that's cool that that's your passion, or like a passion. And third of all, it's just like it was this big moment for me where like I saw a player through a completely different lens, and was just kind of happily surprised that, like, right there, of course, there's so much more to you than what I see on the basketball court,
Absolutely. And I always like to lead with you're seeing the next generation of hoopers. So Flage, as an example, you go to her Instagram, it says CEO. And that was a huge insight with Click Clack, which was women are so multidimensional. And I think it's truly a big differentiator from women's sports to men's sports is like they lead with multiple identities. I would say, and not to gender this, but
Mm.
even more than men do, right, in their sports. And we know that equity is still a big opportunity, parity, equity across pay, viewership, all those things. Like we're on this very upward trend with the WNBA and women's sports as an industry. And so I think you're going to see a lot of new innovation, like what we're building, really starting to challenge the way that the sports industry has always been. And the WNBA is really at the forefront of that in a lot of ways, and women. So I just see the future as just this very exciting new space where women get to own their sports in a whole new way. We get to be CEOs and be hoopers and be fashion icons like Angel or Flage and do a lot of things. And that's going to be accepted in society. And that's our hope.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love it. And also Sylvia Fowles, assistant coach with your Portland Fire.
Mhm.
We love
I think
Sylvia.
when I saw her like helping the players warm up a bit when they were in Toronto, I think that's the most starstruck I've been to date. Is when I saw Sylvia Fowles on the court, because I just feel like that's a player that I never thought I would see on a court, and then when I did, I like kind of lost my mind a bit. But anyways, we should jump into some basketball here.
Yeah, let's do it.
One of our topics this week is, if anyone's watching the Tempo, which I know a lot of our listeners are, we had a bit of a scuffle this week with Angel Reese and Izzy Harrison. There was a flagrant 2 called on Izzy. She was ejected from the game. This game was very chippy from the start. But in addition to that, their former teammates, Angel kind of took her spot in the starting lineup with this guy. So there's a lot of beef there. So Lauren, I'll start with you. What do you think of what seems to be this rivalry?
Look, I love a rivalry in women's sports. I love it. You see it all the time in men's sports.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Angel like pushes the bounds on rivalries. And that's something I love about her. She is so confident in every space she's in. She owns who she is. And so for me, I was like, oh yeah, there's going to be a heated rivalry here for sure. I love that I just quoted heated rivalry.
Me
A
too. I
heated
was like,
rivalry.
someone's gonna say heated
Ooh.
rivalry. We gotta get our Canadian content in somewhere,
Oh, Canada is legitimately my favorite. Entertainment and Hollywood in Canada, that could be a whole nother topic, but so heated rivalry, incredible. But yeah, I mean, I love to see it personally because I think oftentimes women are held to a bit of a different standard when it comes to
Mhm.
rivalries. And I'm like, bring it on. Like, let's see it. And honestly, the growth of the W and everything that happened with Caitlin and Angel was highly regarded around their rivalry, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's fun to watch. Obviously, it's basketball. It's intense, right? And so you get to kind of get into the minds of these players, like just watching, and you're like, whoa. So it didn't shock me by any means, but what did you guys think? I'm curious.
Well, I think I'll let you go, Cathryn, because you were there. What's your
Yeah.
what was like the vibe there? Like, obviously, Temple fans were, picking a side.
Yeah, I mean, It was really, really chippy from the very beginning, and I felt like the refs' response was a little bit of like a 0 to 100 kind of response, where it was like, you could have called a tech somewhere earlier in the game to cool it down. You know what I mean? Like, usually, like, I feel like refs do a better job of just trying to like ease the tension between two players before we get straight into a flagrant 2 situation. But with that being said, like, I don't think it was necessarily the wrong call. I think Izzy kind of came out with a bit of a mission in this game too, to kind of show like Angel like who's boss. Like, she had 17 points like in the third quarter, like when this happened. So she was playing like her ass off. And I think after that happened and Izzy was ejected, Angel went off after that, and because she was having a lower scoring night, and then her points rose up, and obviously she had a ton of rebounds up until that point as well. But one thing I noticed watching Angel in person is like, she's such a phenomenal player. She flexes a lot, she struts, like she's not afraid to show off and be aggressive when she gets these rebounds. And I think when you're not rooting for her, that's frustrating to watch. And I think that is in part, not whole, but in part why she gets a lot of hate, because if she's not on your team, it's like she's a frustrating player to watch. But if she is on your team, you're like, holy shit, I have the best rebounder probably since Dennis Rodman to ever play on my team. This is the greatest thing ever. And I feel like for me, like, I'm just a fan of basketball. Like, of course, I'm a homer to a point, but at the end of the day, I'm a big fan of basketball. I had a big smile on my face watching Angel Reese kind of take over towards the end of this game. Like, I was like, she is the real deal. And it was like a joy to watch her, honestly.
Can I pick on something really quick? Because I'm curious to hear what y'all think. We have this debate all the time on our show about, given where sports fandom is headed and with the proliferation of social media and just access to athletes and content, do we as a society have a stronger pull to a team, like to our team, or are we more attached to players at this point? So I'm just curious, is because you talked about like Angel, if she's not on your team, you're like, but if she is, you're like, let's go. And for me, like, I want to go to every game because of Asia or because of Angel, or like I follow the players. So I'm just curious.
I love this question so much. Like, I think about this with sports a lot. And not to sort of like subcategorize fans too much, but I think there's a lot of different types of sports fans. There's like transaction fans, people who love trades and sort of movement. There's draft heads, like, and I think there is this divide of player fans and team fans. I think, like in, you know, like international soccer, for instance, like so many people root for Messi and they don't really understand like Argentina or whatever. They're just sort of like, I'm rooting for this person. And I think we've seen that a lot with Caitlin and a lot with Angel, obviously Asia as well. And as someone that works with kids, I see that trend more and more and more, where kids, they really care about players and their narrative. And I feel like that is like a tangible thing, way more so than like some sort of like team loyalty. And I think this particular like rivalry conflict, I think, is a good example of it's activated a lot of Angel fans, because a lot of what I'm seeing online is this sort of like retelling of like Angel's like kind of struggle and triumphs through the league, and this kind of sort of turning Izzy into a character, for right or for wrong, but she's a character in Angel's story, I think, as the way a lot of people see this. So it's sort of like they go through, you know, Angel's struggles and everything, and then Izzy's just this person who was sort of on her team and lost her spot and is jealous, and it's like, and then they're clashing. And I think the second thing I just want to jump on that Lauren said too is, this is ultimately for me fun. I thought that was, sorry, there was a wild game right before this where Marina Mabrey like scored 14 points in like a minute,
almost 2 minutes.
So
Yeah, crazy.
I think that was my favorite tempo moment of the season. But just as far as like actual on-court drama, and a game that's like, if you remember one game from this season so far, it's going to be this game. And I think both of these players were on fire, aggressive, have emotion, sort of had a team objective, but then also a personal objective. So, I mean, I went in a lot of places there, but
Freddie, are you a team fan or are you a player fan?
I think I'm a team fan, to be honest.
I know you to be a team fan.
Yeah, I think I'm a team fan, but I do really I have a lot of player fandom in me. Like, I don't know what my pie chart is, but it's not 100% team fan. You know what I mean?
You're like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
I'm like a Venn diagram. That feels good.
I love a Venn diagram. I use them constantly in communicating.
Yeah.
What about you, Cathryn?
I think I'm a team fan as well. Like, I'm a homer, but then also, like, I usually pick another team. Like, it's usually a Western Conference team that I'm rooting for. Like, especially like if my team isn't making it into the playoffs, I'll pick like a playoff team that I want to make like a deep run. And that's usually based on like players that I consider likable or that I enjoy rooting for. So there is a player aspect to it, but I think I'm still team oriented. But I also agree with this assessment. I think this is also based on my age, because I'm like 41. So I like grew up watching sports in a time where it was more team oriented. And I think like sports pulls on our nostalgic heartstrings a lot. And I think like my fandom still kind of comes from that place, if that makes sense.
So you know what's funny is I'm 38, so I'm just south of you.
Just
south. I grew up loving sports. I played every sport. I'm a runner. Like, running's in my DNA. It's why I wanted to work at Nike, because I love running. It's like my therapy. But I never was interested in watching professional sports ever, which is like, I have a sports podcast now. So you'd be like, oh, we have an imposter here. But the reality is I came into sports in a really unique way, which was actually through seeing Angel Reese at the Met Gala, because I love fashion. I love pop culture. I love all.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
And that moment changed my life, where now I'm like, if Olivia Miles doesn't get Rookie of the Year, like, I actually can name stats. I can talk about teams in a way that feels like where I don't feel like an imposter in sports. And I think a lot of women like me who are really passionate about a lot of things, but have never really found their place in sports, are finally finding this new place in women's sports. And I really think that's the future. I think that's why women's sports are so special. But it's also what's drawn me into like actually care about Men's World Cup and FIFA and watch the Knicks beat the Spurs, right? Like, I didn't used to care about that stuff. Right. But women's sports has like opened this door for me where I feel like I belong. And I think that is such a exciting thing for the next generation fan, is like, no matter what your age is, you can find a way in. So anyway, I just wanted to like pick on that a little bit, because I didn't have like that memory of, I had the Blazers. I went to a few games with my dad, but it wasn't like a huge part of my community at the time. And so I think that's the change we're seeing for this next gen fan.
Yeah, we had a dinosaur mascot as a kid.
I love a dinosaur.
Which we brought us in. Yeah.
You're like, that's what I remember.
Look, if the raptor was smoking cigarettes, I might have become a smoker. Like, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, it was really marketed to us in that very specific way.
There's still time, okay? There's still time.
Hella funny. That's so funny.
It's never too late. Okay,
yeah,
so
I was just gonna say, I don't want to make too much of a diversion, but obviously it's died down now because it was like getting a lot of press before the CBA was negotiated. But I was really fascinated with Project B, and kind of that being like a lot of what they were doing was relying on this player fandom, and there was no real like team loyalty built into that. It was actually going to be a traveling league. We'll see what happens in the offseason, but
yeah, I mean, Unrivaled is built that way too, right? Like the teams are not based on a geographical location, so that is like player dependent. If you're rooting for like the Rose or the Phantom or whatever.
But what's really cool is that what Unrivaled has tapped into with kind of this mining of players approach is like they build a whole new identity where there isn't one player who's like the franchise player. Like
Yeah.
everybody gets more equal time. And I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
Even if you've got like your Pages or your Angels or you're kind of like your more well-known players, it's still like the bar is somewhat set. Whereas like if you go into the W, it is very clear who they market with and for.
Yes.
You know, they pick their one or two players who are like the franchise signature players, which has always been the model. So I agree with you in terms of challenging the status quo on maybe more traditional sports models that really tap into kind of the player profiles, because that's where like you build more of a relationship with everybody, right? Than one person or two people.
Yeah, and to your point about the new folks coming into women's sports and the W, I really think that it is this sort of perfect gateway in the sense where, me and Cathryn both covered the NBA for a long time with separate podcasts. And one thing we found when we started covering the W is just the stories are there's just so much richer. The access is completely unique. Everything about the players is more dynamic. Like there's more nuance. It's fresher, and it feels like I was thinking this when you said the word community. It feels like more of a community, like at least at this current stage. Like maybe as it gets much bigger, which that's where we're headed. Like things will change, but it feels like a community that that's pretty unique.
Absolutely. +1.
There you go.
+1.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Freddie, you wanted to get a little hot takey this week.
Yeah, I thought, why not,
So Lauren, we'll start with you first. Early season hot take. What do you got?
I have Portland going to the playoffs. I think there's some special magic there. And I'm not just saying because I'm from Portland. I'm telling you, being at those games, and I know we're like sort of rivals here because we're both the new expansion teams in the league.
Yeah, this is also another heated rivalry.
My God, I was at the game when Sarah Ashley Barker had a freaking buzzer beater against New York Liberty, which we in Portland, everyone's like, there's no way this is going our way. But
that game was so good.
Iconic. But watching Sarah Ashley Barker get that buzzer beater against New York, that was a moment. Because let's be real, New York is, even though they've had a bit of a rocky start season, I still see them going very far. I mean, arguably to the championship again. But I don't know. There's something special about what's brewing here in Portland that I think they're going to be a playoff team.
I like this take, and we've joked earlier this season that every time Portland beats somebody, they have a team meeting. Like every time, Portland is always setting other teams into a crisis. But the fact that they're able to consistently do that, and they've been hovering around the middle of the pack for a lot of the season, so I like this take. I agree. They do have a legitimate shot at the playoffs.
And I promise I'm really not trying to be biased here because I know I sit in Portland, but I honestly think our city has been pleasantly surprised in like the best possible way, because you never quite know what you're going to get from an expansion franchise. And the Valkyries set a world.
They set the bar.
And they're doing so well this season. So like they're just like on another level. But I just think there's something special here. And I hope y'all come to a game. Just saying.
That'd be so good. That'd be amazing. Yeah, when we talked about this on the pod, but when Megan Gustafson had that just like beautiful presser, where she kind of had that moment where she just broke down a little bit and was like, this whole team is as a collection of players who've been doubted. It was moving. It was moving, and it was really. You could see she was caught up in it, and I'll be honest, like I think when I first saw the roster, especially in comparison to the Tempo roster, like I thought the Tempo were like, okay, they're going to try and sort of give fans a competitive roster for fun for a little bit, and we'll see how we do. And I thought Portland's strategy was building long term. Like I didn't really think that Portland intended to be this good, and I'm happily surprised. Like they've been awesome.
Okay, Freddie, what's your hot take?
My hot take, and this is just a feeling that I can't really. I want to back it. I want to back it with something more substantial, but it's just one of those sports feelings that I can't shake. And it's I don't think the Lynx are this good. And
Oh,
yes, and
what?
it's I know. So I like again,
I'm home alone, but I looked behind me. Like, did someone else hear that?
I heard it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I gave you a this because I'm like, that's bold, my friend. That's bold.
I know. And it might just be wrong and bad. And perhaps it is, but sometimes I get these sports feelings and I have to just like let them sit in the room with me and like kind of just be like, who are you? What are you saying? What's going on? And I'm a big sports chemistry person. Like I think it's hard to calculate and it's weird. And I think with Miles just being this absolute phenom, things are great. Things are cooking. Obviously, Cheryl Reeve, I think the best coach in the league. And plus, Kayla McBride. And then where it gets weird for me, where it's like, I think there's this assumption, right? So Nafisa comes back and it's like, wow, they just get even better. No, I think that she comes back and there's this recalibration and then there's some settling. And then the league's had a little bit of time to sort of scout Miles and recalibrate in the way that they guard Minnesota. Do I think that Minnesota is like going to be worse than 4th or 5th place? Not really. But I think that I guess this current iteration, I don't think they're I think they're 11-3. Like I think they're just playing a little bit above their head. And when I watch the Dream and when I watch the Aces and when I watch the Liberty, I just sort of see them at some point kind of surpassing them.
Wow.
Yeah. So happily wrong. I mean,
I like it.
Maybe probably wrong, but I don't know. It's just a feeling. Can't fight it.
Okay.
I'm like so pro Cheryl Reeve that I just like couldn't get there with you personally,
Fair. Yeah.
but I like appreciate the hot take. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, some hot takes are just unnecessary,
Yeah. Listen, we'll clip that and we'll watch the world burn. Don't worry about it.
Let the internet handle him.
Yeah, I will be handled.
That's so funny. Okay, my little hot take is I was looking at all-star votes early returns and I kind of had a realization that maybe Caitlin Clark isn't the most popular player amongst people who watch games. Hear me out. So Caitlin Clark is currently 5th in all-star voting. Now she's second amongst guards. Paige is ahead of her. We've got Asia leading the pack, then Paige, then Aaliyah Boston number 3, Breanna Stewart, and then Caitlin Clark. So the Fever fans are voting, right? We've got Aaliyah here. Kelsey Mitchell cracks the top 10. Further down the list, we have Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall as well. Like the Fever fans are voting, but a lot of W fans are also voting and they aren't necessarily putting her first. And now, obviously, when you're out in the world and you ask people to name a WNBA player, likely they're going to say Caitlin Clark. But one thing I noticed years ago when we first started covering this, popularity and like Instagram followers don't necessarily cross over into all-star votes. And what I remember is Liz Cambage was very popular online. She had like over 1 million followers and all that, but she was not leading the pack in all-star votes. And I just feel like the people watching the games versus people who casually engage in online discourse are two different audiences. And I think the audience that is watching the games obviously respect Caitlin Clark, like Caitlin Clark, maybe even love Caitlin Clark, but are aware that she is not necessarily the number one player. And I love that this is being reflected in the voting. And I think it speaks volumes to how people watch games and how intelligent WNBA audiences really are.
I mean, +1. we have been talking about the Caitlin Clark effect for a long time. And I told y'all how I came into the W. It wasn't through it wasn't through Caitlin. It was through Angel. Granted, their narrative was very much tied together, but I think you called out something so critical, and that social media is a passive place. It's for your passive fan. People that show up and watch the games, who vote for All-Star, these are fans that go to the games. These are fans that look at the stats. These are fans that go a lot deeper. So I think it was you, Freddie, who talked about kind of the layers of fandom and how things are shifting. I think that is such an important insight. And I have wondered for a while, because I'm a data girl. I look at data and I look at like, okay, where were we at last year on viewership? Like, how did Caitlin impact? Did she not? And Indiana had an amazing season last year while she was injured, right? So like, I think we put way too much stock in one player as like the end all be all, when in fact the emerging talent that's going to push that Caitlin Clark effect out a little bit. I mean, she's for sure a generational player. I mean, she is, like,
for sure, of course.
No doubt. Jackie and I talk about that all the time, but you're absolutely right. Like, I think there's something happening. There's a shift happening. Wait till Juju comes up in the league. I'm just saying, like,
I know,
next level. So,
I know.
I'll leave it there, but I loved that analysis. That was great.
Thank you.
I'm always telling people who, like, you know, especially like friends of mine or family or whatever, that are just kind of getting into the league and, you know, are excited about Caitlin or whatever, that, like, you know, if they're asking like, wow, like, you know, like, how good is she? Like, where does she rank? Like, you know, one thing I will always say is like, this is not an end. Like, this is truly the tip of the iceberg. Like from a talent perspective, the league, like, it's, I'm not sure where Caitlin's going to land historically, but good, amazing players are coming and they're not going to stop coming. And maybe her and Angel are the ignition or part of the ignition, but really we haven't really arrived or plateaued, and we're actually not even really close to the plateau of this league, I don't think.
I would love to argue, though, that if social media had been where it is today when Maya Moore was playing, or even in the earlier days of DT, like, I think we would be in a different position. Like, I just
like when Diana Taurasi like gave Simone Augustus a kiss, like that would have gone viral in a different way.
Legitimately broken the internet.
Yeah.
So I do think Caitlin and Angel came up in a time where you had other factors like NIL, social media, finally ESPN getting on the bandwagon for like actually creating some level of equity in terms of distribution of media and viewership. Like, and the women's game just continues to grow. Granted, I don't know if we've seen the same numbers viewership wise as we did, what was it, 2024 for the NCAA championship. I think that was still the highest year.
Yes,
I have to check the stats for this year. But the fact is that it's continuing to grow, and the breadth and the depth is getting a lot more significant.
Yeah. Here. +2.
+2.
Freddie, I think it's time for your fun question.
Okay, Freddie's fun question. Here we go. You know, I think, speaking of pushing boundaries and just like raising floors and ceilings, it was Ellie's 6th birthday.
Happy birthday, Ellie the Elephant.
Happy birthday, Ellie.
I have people in my life. I work with a close friend, Eliza, who that's her way in to the W, is Ellie specifically. So like Ellie is doing her own thing and it's special. It really is. And I love mascots. So, but Ellie's more than a mascot. And my question to both of you is, you know, money's not an object. You're in charge of planning and celebrating Ellie's birthday. What's the move? What are you doing? How are you celebrating Ellie's birthday? Cathryn, you want to start?
Sure, I can go first. So, you know, unlimited budget. My first thought was, how do we get Beyonce here? And because we need Beyonce to celebrate Ellie's birthday with her, right? Like, we got to surprise her. I know she's got the mascot face on, but through her body language, we will see the tears. You know what I mean? And so what I think we do is we have like a bunch of like champagne girls come out, the fireworks, almost like you're at a club, right? Blah, 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 blah. But then they part ways and there's Beyonce. Oh my God. Right. And then they get together. They do a little dance break together. Ellie's all freaking out, but she knows the steps. She can jump in. And I feel like because she's a mascot, we still got to celebrate her birthday on the court. This is what I'm thinking. So I feel like we get Beyonce with her and they do a halftime show together. And I think that's like the ultimate present for Ellie.
Man, that's a hard one to one up. Let me.
It's hard to one up Beyonce in anything. I'm sorry.
Anything. I'm gonna go a little deeper and add a +1 onto that. We do a remake of the famous music video "Telephone" with Gaga and Beyonce.
Oh my God!
You put
and
Ellie
we get the car, the pussy wagon or whatever it's called. The car. We get the convertible in there.
You put Ellie in that music video.
Yeah,
you remake it and then you launch it at a Liberty game as the big Tron. That's where they debut the music video. And then Bey, Lady Gaga, and Ellie go on the court together and do a rendition of Telephone.
I think what I'm going to one up this and say they finally give us the to be continued. Because at the end of the Telephone music video, it says to be continued and they never continued it.
This
is the reason for them to finally debut the to be continued, and it features Ellie the Elephant. Happy birthday.
How do we get this clip to Gaga and Bey?
We gotta find it.
Because I legitimately think this would break not just the internet, but like the world in like a very
everything.
And can I just say, this is why we do FFQ. This is why we play the game. Okay. This is why we do this question, because ideas like this.
Yeah.
Hashtag hire us, Kathy Engelbert.
That was very solid collaboration. Well done.
The amount of marketing ideas I've given for free on our podcast are next level. So I'm with y'all.
We ask Engelbert to hire us on a regular basis.
Yeah,
she could use you guys. She could definitely use you guys. I think.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, like she's hung on. So. Engelbert,
she stayed in the wings since CBA. Stayed in the wings
somehow. She truly has.
Yeah.
Well,
Freddie, what's your idea?
I mean, I'm not gonna +2 or +3 or +1 because I think that idea rests alone and it's strong. I'll just say my idea, wacky as usual. So I think I want every mascot you could possibly muster and find, and I think I want to acknowledge that she's done something completely different and is like this like queen of mascots. And I want to do a redo of the opening scene of The Lion King.
Oh, boy.
And it's all mascots doing all the different parts. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's all going down.
They're the animal kingdom.
That's right. But the lions aren't the boss.
Who's holding up Ellie? Like, is Ellie Simba?
Some of the logistical stuff haven't thought through. I'll be honest. Who's holding up Ellie? Simply don't know. Who's Jafar? I don't know. I guess we got to find it.
No, Jafar in the opening sequence. He is not in the
opening. You're thinking of Scar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Jafar's cool. My bad.
Jafar is not cool. He's very mean.
Oh,
Jafar's a different enemy.
Oh shit.
He's in Aladdin. We're getting our Disney movies crossed over here.
Okay, sorry, Jafar. Don't worry about it. You're not around.
Yeah. But also Scar is not in the opening sequence, and neither are the hyenas.
Okay,
this is
fair
like
enough.
The nice part of the animal kingdom.
Okay, cool. But that's great. We don't have to worry about
I never thought I'd have to clarify that before. I'm just saying, I never thought.
Or Scar. So that's a logistical thing I don't have to worry about, which is great. But
then you're like, and then Ellie comes in on a magic carpet. We're like, no, Freddie, it's a different movie.
Yeah.
You guys are killing me right now.
Yeah, Elsa's there.
So silly.
But no, listen. Let's just forget about my idea. Okay, let's forget about my bad Lynk's take, and let's just sort of bring it back to y'all's idea. And Lauren, I know we got to wrap up here. You got you got stuff to do. You got a wife.
I got my kiddos. They're calling.
Get your kiddos.
Yes.
So yeah, we just want to thank you so much for doing this podcast. It's been an absolute blast, and please just give our listeners like a nice thorough plug, like where to find you, where to find your co-star, like what you want them to listen to.
Well, let me just say this was so fun. The time I looked up at the time and I was like, whoa, we've been talking for this long. And those are the best moments. So thank you for everything you do to cover this incredible league. Thanks for inviting me on. And if you want to follow Clack, that's our media channel that has our podcast and all of our social media. You can follow us at It's Clack, and you can find our podcast on YouTube at the Clack Show or wherever you get your podcasts. And also stay tuned for more on our product because we are really excited. It's called Next Click. It will be in universities starting this fall. So yeah, more is coming from us, and just really happy to be here with you guys. And hopefully we can go to a game together someday. That would be very fun.
Huge. Absolutely huge. Thank you again, Lauren, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. Appreciate you so much. Freddie, did you have one last thing to say? I did cut you off so slightly.
I was just gonna say if you want to, give us Bridget Carlton back, that would be awesome.
No way in hell, my friend. No way.
She has not watched Portlandia yet. She told us that. And then I didn't post the clip. I didn't post the clip.
Out.
That was Catherine's first question, by the way.
No, it was not my first question. It was not my first question.
Literally iconic.
I did ask. What I asked her is if she's had a Portlandia moment yet, and she said I haven't seen this show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Go Fire, go Tempo. And I can't wait to see this episode, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Thanks,
bye.
Lauren.